Okay, I've got 9 o'clock. Regular meeting of the Commissioners Court of Mills County is in session. Let me take roll. Present via Zoom, we have Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Guerin, and Commissioner Parton, and myself, so that constitutes a legal quorum. We have County Clerk Sonia Scott. We have County Attorney Gerald Hale. I see Tina Allensworth and Chief Deputy Green and someone else from the Law Enforcement Center. I see Summer Campbell with her camera off, and our producer and administrator, Jackie Brooks. So that is who's present. As I said, we have a quorum. So we will start with if Commissioner Williams would lead us in an opening prayer.
Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have granted us. Thank you for all that we do and that all that you give us. Remind us the season that we're going upon and into in this Easter season. Guide us and direct us in all of our actions here today. And Father, please bless our land with some rain. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, item 2 on the agenda is the minutes of March 8th. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
I have.
That's the only thing that I have is, it says we're complete on my deal. It says completing a road that was part of the older FEMA agreement. We have not started that road yet.
Ms. Scott, you were muted. We didn't hear that comment.
Yes, sir. I'll get that fixed.
Okay. Looks like we've been joined by the Eagle. So with the correction on Commissioner Parton's report, is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Beat you.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Williams, second Commissioner Guerin. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we have approved that. Might note that was a unanimous vote. Commissioner Wright is not present, so that vote was 4-1, not 5-1. Audience with individuals, we have no one present physically present in the courtroom. We have no one that signed up to speak, and we have no one that signed up to participate and address the court via Zoom or conference call. So we will pass on item 3. Item 4, consider an act on accounts payable. I had a couple of questions for Ms. Campbell, and as I mentioned earlier, if we don't have answers, we can come back later in the meeting. One of them was the payable to NG, which looked to me like it was a newspaper advertising reimbursement.
That is correct, and we have that corrected already.
Ms. Campbell, we didn't hear that. You're either muted or you need to get closer to your microphone.
I said that we have that fixed, and you are correct. It is a receivable, not an accounts payable.
Okay, and so it's a collection on a receivable.
Yes. Yes. It's money refunded for ads in the Goldthwait Eagle. So it will be entered into the program as a receipt, not on a payable.
Okay. I didn't recognize the TCEQ paying a on-site attorney fee. Is there any background on that you could provide?
I do not have any background on that. Something I will have to research.
Did any of the other commissioners get that response? I only heard the tail end of it.
She doesn't have it, right? She'll have to look it up and find out.
Okay, we can do that.
Are you talking, that $70 on-site counsel fee?
Correct. And then I had a question on the court reporting on the CPS docket, why that was in the general fund versus the court fund.
We've already addressed that and it's corrected also.
Okay. I think those were my questions and comments, commissioners. I didn't mean to hog all the airtime. Go right ahead.
I have none. Those were the same two questions that I had. So if she'll look those up, I mean, she's answered two of them. So that third one that you're wanting, she can look that up right quick. And so I make a motion that we table this, or I guess we don't have to table it. We can just come back to it, correct?
We'll just come back to it.
Okay.
Commissioner Guerin, did you have any questions on any of the payables?
She's already answered the ones I had. So
Commissioner
On the
Parkman?
third one by the end of court.
Okay. She said she'd have the answer by that end of court, Judge.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that. Number 5, consider an act on inmate housing agreement for Bell County. Chief Deputy Green, would you like to speak to this?
An agreement for them to be able to house with us. I have no idea the background of it.
So is Bell County out of rooms, or that's kind of odd for them to come to us?
I have no idea. That was something the sheriff did.
Well, I don't guess I have anything against it. I'm just curious why they're coming to us. So
I guess if you watch Waco News, you'll know they may be getting a run and rest every day down there for some odd things. Temple or clean one for sure, especially clean.
yeah, way it sounds, they've got a ton of Californians moving in.
It's our standard agreement and $50 a night, subject to the sheriff's approval of inmates. You know, they're picking up the responsibility for medical costs past minor local prescriptions. They'll reimburse us for emergency stuff. I don't have any objections. Is there any other comments, or is there a motion?
Well, the only thing that worries me is, are they going to send their capital murder victims down here, and can we handle them?
I have no idea, but there shouldn't be an issue. We've got state-of-the-art facilities, so.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the inmate housing agreement with Bell County.
I'll second that motion. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we have approved that. Let me see. Next item on the agenda is designating the items listed in 6 from the clerk's office as salvage. And then after that, we'll talk about the items in 7, which will be scrap. Ms. Scott, is there anything you'd like to say here?
Doing some cleanup. There was some computer parts and what we've listed that was down kind of in our basement storage area, and we're just trying to clean house.
So are these out of your office or just out of the courthouse in general?
They're out of our office, but they predate me. They were just in a box downstairs where our old records are. We've used some of them and they don't work. So we're just cleaning house, found boxes of goodies, and we're trying to get rid of them.
Does that wireless mouse work, Sonia?
I believe the mouse does work. I'm just trying to move away from wireless because that would incur the additional cost of buying batteries. We will just go off USB.
Okay.
Okay.
Dale?
Judge, let me just add, I mean, it says on here, designated salvage. That means that we're expected to sell those things and generate some revenue. So if they're designated as salvage, it means they're sellable.
Correct. They work. The mouse works. I guess there's 2 keyboards, 2 mouse setups, and they all work. We just don't need them. They're just extras.
Okay, but we are required to make an effort to sell them if they're just classified as salvage.
I believe
Yes.
we have a stash of other things that are also sellable from the last year when I was in the judge's office that we have declared salvage, and it's electronics, and they're in where the old DMV used to be.
We had plans to have a garage sale or put all this stuff in an auction. We found electronics salvage recycling centers that fit up within another loophole. But honestly, COVID sort of killed the ability to do a lot of that. So it has just accumulated, but that's still the plan, is to sell this. And, we'll probably get a grand total of $50 for a whole room full of stuff.
And the statute does say if we declare it as salvage and we try to sell it and we can't, we can reclassify it as a scrap. So
That's correct.
But we do have to make an effort to sell it.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the listed items as salvage that is from the clerk's office.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to declare the items listed on agenda item 6 as salvage in the clerk's office. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 7 then was the second list, and this is scrap. This, I understand, is the stuff that doesn't work. Is that correct, Ms. Scott? You're just going to throw this away?
Correct. That is correct.
Again, I make a motion that we accept the list on item 7 as scrap from the clerk's office.
I'll second it.
I think Mr. Parkin beat you to it, Commissioner Guerin. So
Okay.
we have a motion from Commissioner Williams, a second from Commissioner Parkin. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Number 8 is a discussion of the preliminary budget calendar for our fiscal year that starts in October. This is in the package, but since I put it last year when we put this together, it was with the benefit of some TAC training on legislative changes and how that needed to impact our calendar. We hadn't had that this year, so I just did the best I could. And since we published this, it's now come up. There is a TAC meeting on this next Tuesday. So I moved, we table item 8 on the calendar, and I will have a potentially revised one for our next meeting.
Okay. I'll
Sounds
second
good.
it. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, that's unanimous. We have tabled the budget calendar till the next meeting. Discussion of the direction to the Knight Law Firm. In your package, and I just want everybody to see this and have input on it. The one key to managing people that charge you by the hour is to be real clear on expectations and not let them go off in the wrong direction. So included in the package, the thing to focus on is the piece of single page that says draft at the top and then initial direction to the Knight Law Firm. And in that, I've basically asked them to do two main assignments. The first one is to prepare a calendar for us, outlining all the steps we have to have with hearings, advertisements, regular meetings to vote, hearings on taking, the various things that are required in the process, so we know how we have to schedule this. And the second thing I asked them to do was to take our existing ordinance, and then that we have a draft from our county attorney, which is in the package, and a draft from me that have separate but not conflicting thoughts of things we would like to see in a subdivision ordinance, and put all of these things together, existing plus the two wish lists, so to speak, in a red line document for the court to use as a basis to start discussing. And then finally, there's a little list at the bottom, which includes raising things we didn't think about, telling us anything we can't do that we want to do, and then be available to meet with the court via Zoom to discuss this as we request. So this, I have not delivered this to the law firm. I wanted the court to see it, see if y'all had any additions or changes you would like to make in this direction before we start running a meter.
I
Mr.
looked it
Haley,
over,
do you have any
Judge.
thoughts?
Go ahead, Jed.
I said I looked it over, and it looks like a good plan to give to them, see what they can get done, Judge. I agree with it.
Mr. Hale, did you have any input? You're muted.
No, that sounds like a good plan to me.
Sounds like a good one to me.
Okay, this was just listed for discussion, so there's no action to be taken. And I didn't mean to overlook you, Mr. Parton. Did you have any?
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay. Number 10, discussion possible donation of a wrought iron fence from the old courthouse. Robert Womack called me about this. He may have talked to some of y'all also. He has identified that part of the old wrought iron fence that surrounded the first courthouse was around an old tear down house on Old Pretty Road that has recently changed hands. The new owners, the Wilsons, have offered to donate pieces of it. Womack's suggestion was that they put a piece on that wall at the museum and mount a small piece out by the marker to the old well on the, I guess that's the northeast corner of the courthouse grounds approximately. You know, at one level, it's one more thing on the courthouse yard. I've asked Lynetta Williams of the Historical Commission for input. I don't have it yet. Just wanted to throw this out there and get in guidance from the court as to y'all's thoughts on this.
Well, how would we secure it if it's just a piece? How would we secure it that it wouldn't get taken?
Well, I guess the answer is you can't ever tell somebody couldn't hook up with a truck and pull it off,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming there would be, it's a section. So there would be posts going down into the ground or concrete next to the sidewalk. So it could be pulled out. It wouldn't be just laying there.
Yeah.
How much of the old fence is accounted for? Does anybody know?
The way I got it, Dale, is they're just going to give us one little small, one section, like a 6 foot, 8 foot piece. And then they're going to put part of it at the museum and the rest over there by that monument. And that monument's not but about 4 foot long. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't think it'd be bigger than 4 foot that you'd be putting there.
I think I've seen that fence. I didn't know what it was. It used to be in front of a house on the old Pretty Road,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what it was.
I don't know. I don't know. My inkling is just off the top of my head is maybe just display it in the inside the courthouse instead of on the courthouse lawn. But Gerald, did they say anything at the historical commission over it, or did they bring it up?
I think it's been mentioned, but just in passing, nobody's actually expressed an opinion one way or the other, I don't think.
Do you have an opinion?
Yeah. I don't know. I just be leery to put just a little 3 or 4 foot piece on the lawn. You'd have to put some kind of plaque or something explaining what that piece was.
Yeah.
Right.
Are they going to ask us to do that, or is the historical commission supposed to do that, or?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think clearly the sense is we don't want to spend any money on this. That maybe the museum or the historical room is a better site. Anybody disagree with that approach?
How much trouble is it going to cause mowing around it and stuff like that?
Yeah, or we
for
could
maintenance?
just delegate this to the historic commission to figure it out.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan, Judge. I'll go for that.
Okay.
There's a lot of pictures and a lot of information up in the historical room. That might not be a bad idea, is to display it up there by the historical room or something.
Yeah. Now, generally, the historical room is locked.
Okay.
Because they also store books and other things up there and have a computer terminal. So it's kind of a misnomer. It's the museum's probably a better site, but.
I got you.
Okay.
Let's revisit it and maybe see if we can find out some more information, and I'll see if I can bridge it with Mr. Womack myself and find out.
Well, I know Mr. Womack would be happy to address the court.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about the whole law enforcement generator. This is item 11.
So, Jed, kind of give us a background about Hamilton a little bit, what they wanted or what happened over there.
Here a while back, after the big freeze, I was reading the Hamilton paper and had the minutes of the Hamilton Commissioners Court in it. And in there, they mentioned that they were going to try to find a used generator to help power the jailhouse, since they had some trouble with electricity like we did in parts of Mills County during the winter storm. And I called Commissioner Clary and asked him if they'd found anything or what was going on. And then Jason and I both talked to him together, and he expressed some interest, they did, in maybe purchasing that generator from us or something. I don't know, did he ever make it over and look at it, Jason, or do you know?
I do not know. I know I sent him pictures of it, and they are interested in it. So if we're willing to get rid of it or put a price on it or whatever, they're interested. But being with what's happened across the state, that generator right now there's a lot of people looking for generators. And if we're not going to use it, we might as well get rid of it.
Yeah. We've had this discussion several times in the past about getting rid of it, and nobody would ever pull the trigger. So it's not doing it. It's not doing us any good. It's not hooked up. It sure ain't making us any money. They talked once about hooking it up to the courthouse, and I think they figured out it would power one floor or something, and decided not to mess with it. So before it goes to rack and ruin, I'd say we get rid of the goddamn thing.
Well, the critical infrastructure here is in Mills County isn't the courthouse, it's the law enforcement center. And that's where our emergency operations center is. And they have a generator, and they are set up to do the required things you need to do to keep a generator operational, which is run it periodically.
Judge, I don't mean to interrupt, but only one thing that I thought over the weekend is this: if we did construct, or Hamilton constructed a new EMS facility, would they be interested in putting that as a backup for their facility? You see what I'm asking?
Yes.
And that might be a big plus with a backup generator system, but we would have to visit with who's going to run it, who's going to maintain it, who's going to keep it up. Because from reports from the sheriff's department years ago, that's a weekly thing, or at least an every other week thing that you have to do.
Well, I think, I mean, just in general, the time to sell anything is when somebody else wants to buy it. It's not when you need to sell it. And if there's a market now, we're not using it. It's been sitting for, 4 to 6 years unused. We can sell it via an interlocal agreement, and the challenge is going to determine what price we need for it. And I'd be willing to entertain a motion to, let a commissioner develop a price and negotiate an interlocal agreement to present back to the court for approval.
Yeah, well, it's with no motion. It's just a discussion item today, but yeah, I think we could put it on the next agenda for sure.
Okay. Well, to take action to approve it, we will need to have an interlocal, and we'll need to put a dollar and cents on it. And, we don't want to have any warranty, and we don't want to be responsible for delivery and installation.
Correct.
Sort of as is, where is.
Well, Jed,
okay, who's going to run with it?
Jed and we'll do it together. Jed and I, since we already started, we'll go ahead and work it out, and we'll get it up for the next agenda for the next court.
Okay.
Sounds good to me, Jason. We can both work on it and see if we can get something going there.
I'm sure Mike would like to have it out of his way in the barn. It's right in the middle of the door over there. So.
Okay, we're down to item, well, before we get into the commissioner's reports, let me see if Ms. Campbell's back with us with anything on accounts payable.
So we have pulled previous invoices from that vendor, and it is coded correctly. I believe the description that you're seeing is from an old entry, but it is for septic system fees. So it is coded 10-300-615. I believe that is correct.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
You're welcome.
I make
Any
a
other-
motion, that we approve the accounts payables with those corrections.
I'll
I'll
second.
second it.
Okay, I stepped on Commissioner Guerin, so that was a motion from Commissioner Williams, a second from Commissioner Guerin. All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Aye.
Okay, we have approved accounts payable. Number 12 is Commissioners' requests and reports. Let's start with, in the absence of Mike Wright, we'll start with Precinct 2, Commissioner Guerin.
Their the windmill company, Blattner, their construction are laying material on some of the county roads that they're going to use in their field. They're building them up. I've seen at least 4 inches on some of them. They've got a mountain of caliche crush up there on a piece of property. They got carried in, and they're steady working towards getting everything set to go. I think y'all must have got an email just the other day that Angie did return our road use agreement finally, and took them a while. I got a text at 2 o'clock the other morning that they were going to take care of it. Now, I don't know what kind of deal that was, but I didn't think that was real professional on that guy's part to be texting me at 2 o'clock in the morning.
we just lost Jed.
But
There he
anyway,
is.
that fence.
You're going in and out, Jed. Go ahead.
Okay. We just took out a fence line on 323. Got some more material available. We're fixing to start digging up some, putting on County Road 333 on 2 bad corners. Got a 10 horn to install sometime this week. And let's see, I guess that's about it.
Commissioner Parkman?
Yes, we had gotten a rock crusher from Jason for a couple of days. Crushed a bunch of rock out on County Road 549. That road has really been bad for a long time. We've been hauling some of the hillsides out there. Hopefully finish up out there today. Have had quite a few comments and even a compliment or two on it. So we'll see how it ends up, but it's a lot better than it was. And also, I was gonna holler at Jed. I hadn't had a chance. Blattner's or whoever has hauled dirt on County Road 262 and 259, which is Jed's, but I drove it the other day. It sure looks to me like they're either trying to stretch their dirt because it looks, or not getting it bladed out good, because it appears to be thick and thin all the way through the road.
Right.
I mean, they either need to do some more work on it, but either they was in a hurry or they just wasn't getting their dirt worked out good. Jed may have more insight on that than I do, but that's what I felt like we had out there where they were hauling dirt. I mean, it's definitely a plus to get the dirt on the roads, but we kind of like it smooth too.
Well, my recommendation is
Right.
just make note of that, Dale,
Well,
and keep track of it. So when it comes up at the end.
I would like to try and not let it even get to the end. If you guys have enough of a relationship with the supervisors to be raising these concerns as you observe them, maybe we can avoid a problem at the end and keep our roads in better shape throughout.
Commissioner Parton, can you tell me those road numbers again?
262 and 259. 262 is in my precinct. 259's actually Jed, it's Dottie House Road. Is that, Jed, is that kind of what the feeling you got when you drove over them, or were you satisfied, or?
No, sir, I agree with you. They were thin in some spots and thick in other spots. And I hadn't asked them about it, but I do know that they're not through.
Okay.
Because on that 259, they're going to put 2 or 3 48-inch tin horns across those 2 draws up there. And it's going to take a boatload of material to get that in. And I'm figuring they're just spreading it now and getting the road smooth where they can start hauling, running more trucks in and out of there is my feeling. They are use some roads that start, and of course I can understand that you need to have a circle where you can get back to the pit, and that's what they're doing. And I talked to that boy Donnie the other day. They're using 217 quite a bit, and I said something to him about if they tore it up, I want it fixed. And he said he's made it very plain to them. If they left a footprint on any of the roads that they didn't recover, he wanted it fixed. So we'll see if he takes care of it or not. And I've been trying to check on them every day. I think, somebody needs to check on that pretty regular to see what they're doing, if they're doing the right thing or not.
Commissioner Williams?
Yeah, so we've been running the rock crusher, reclaiming the roads on 532 and 536 out and around the Ebony community. A lot of those areas have new fence lines and stuff on them from the fire this last summer. And so when they cleared those right of ways and stuff, the fence builders, they left us a lot of large rocks that we were able to crush and put back in the roadway, hoping that it does really well there. Worked on a lot of interviews in the last couple weeks. They've been really sparse and in between, and some good, some bad. Dealing with what Jed and Mike have dealt with in the past, not a lot of CDL applicants out there. So been doing research a little bit more on CDL and how to get that process going. Very interesting talking to the DPS on several situations. Have the report on the swinging bridge on County Road 433. Talked to Jason Scantlin last Thursday, and San Saba Commissioner's Court has approved of all the spending and the repair cost for the swinging bridge. They're thinking that from that day forward, it'll be about 4 weeks before the bridge is open. But I think, in my opinion, it's going to be 4 weeks before they start. And so I think it'll be at least another 6 weeks before the bridge is open. Just getting conversations from Jason Scantlin and from the commissioners over in San Saba County. It seems like San Saba is they're gonna take all the brunt of the cost because they're going after the insurance from the gentleman that tore up the bridge, which is a good plus for us. Mills County Appraisal District report. We had a meeting on March the 9th. And it did come forward that Encore in that meantime has now paid their 2020 taxes, where we were originally told that they hadn't. That become I don't know who did it situation on the check between Encore, MCAD, and the post office. So anyway, but that check has come and cleared our bank and is in our account. We will not receive any late fees on that issue. Nothing really else was just in general housekeeping there. Hill Country Community Action Report met, and I did ask the question, when can our senior center open? They were a little reluctant, but they said the counties can open whenever. When the meeting was over, I already had an offer to open it April the 5th. So I said, yes, we would glad to open that on April the 5th. I have called and talked over there to the senior center, and they're excited about getting that open. Judge, you may have more report on that in a minute. So looks like that'll be open for actual people to come back in. And you know, I mean, if you look at the deaths since COVID started, they've lost a lot of their members, not due to COVID, but just over, you know, time and stuff. So they're going to be looking at new members, you know, to going throughout too. So it'll be a big start over process for them. Let me see. I guess that's all, unless somebody has any questions for me.
Thank you. This will be a little bit long. I'll try and go quickly. Hope everybody received their stimulus check. That was part of the American Rescue Act, I believe it's called, but it includes, from what I'm told, funds for counties and cities. The information I'm getting is that we could see as much as $950,000 for Mills County coming through the state. So there will be that fight to ultimately get it. There are, as you would expect, a lot of strings on it. It's not as bad as FEMA, but at this point, it looks like it needs to be spent on either directly on the cost of COVID response or on related medical and first responder expenses related to COVID. So my best idea so far is to look at the ambulance barn replacement, which was on our radar anyway. But there'll be more guidance coming from TAC on this. It's not money we're spending next week, but wanted you to know it was out there. The city of Goldthwaite and the cities of Mullen have amounts potentially coming to them also. I am going to be out the rest of the week with the budget training tomorrow afternoon in Lubbock, which they tacked onto the front end of our annual judicial training, which was canceled last year for COVID. So it's something I need to do to get my hours. I'll be reachable by cell and email and so forth. Speaking of email, our email provider is a tax subsidiary called CIRA, County Information Services, and they are discontinuing Rackspace, our current email provider, and moving to a Microsoft platform so we have to make that conversion sometime this year, as we've been fighting spam and Trojans and phishing over the last couple of months. With CIRA, we're told that if we would expedite the conversion, do it sooner rather than later, there were better defensive tools in the Microsoft email system. So we have signed up and our conversion is scheduled early April, sometime between the 5th and the 9th. You'll be hearing more as we approach it. There will be steps everybody's going to have to do. The key one will be changing everybody's password several days in advance of the conversion. We're all used to changing passwords now every time we get spammed and phished. But we have designated 3 people in the county in addition to myself to help with this. And that's Tina Allensworth, Sonia Scott, and Jackie Brooks. So everybody should be able to find technical assistance, including in I should have put me in there too. But that should be all we'll have to do is immediately before the conversion, change the password. They will give us a new password in the conversion, and immediately after the conversion, they just ask that everybody go in there and put in a personal password. We'll keep circulating information as we get hard dates and better instructions. The big news is probably the reopening of the judicial system in the state. The state Supreme Court and Office of Court Administration has delegated a lot of this back to the districts. And with a lot of conversation with our new district judge, we are reopening in-person judicial proceedings in the 35th district. I believe the effective date is April 1st. It's whenever the current order expires. The language will continue to encourage remote hearings when appropriate, but it's no longer the prohibition against in-person. I expected to see Gerald Hale doing handstands, but maybe that's later. So anyway, we will be reopening on the judicial front. You will probably see a lot more court activity as all the courts try and catch up from their backlogs. There will be jury summonses, there will be jury trials. There are, of course, strings on this. The big one's going to be masks. There will no longer be the close all the doors, run everybody through the basement and screen them. Instead, it's going to be not voluntary. It'll be up to each judge in the court proceeding and the bailiff in the court to check people individually if they think it's appropriate. And everybody in the courtroom's got to wear a mask except when they're speaking. The other thing, and it's going to tap Friday, the CDC announced a change in schools from 6-foot spacing to 3-foot spacing. And so we are bringing that into the court rules and requiring, since we will have masks, just 3-foot spacing in the courtrooms and the jury boxes. So that will expedite justice in the district. Those are the big things that are going on. And that's all I have. Anybody have anything else? Okay.
What about our commissioners court meeting, Judge? Are we fixing to go back in person, or are we still going to be able to Zoom?
Well, I think as I've asked TAC, we have the governor's emergency declaration, which he's yet to lift, is the mechanism that makes this work for open meetings perspective in the Attorney General's opinion. TAC says they will, actually it was Jim Allison, when they get word that this will be canceled and no longer available, they'll let us know. We don't have that yet. Now, so that means we can keep doing what we're doing, but it also, with the judicial rules, I think we are free to go back and do it the old way if we choose. We may spread out a little more on the platform. So it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's up to you guys. You're welcome to, until the governor tells us otherwise, we're legal to do what we're doing. And I just leave it up to each of you. And I'll let you know when that changes.
So do we have any news on Mike Wright?
I really don't. I talked to Mike. At this point, it's been a little over a week. He had a problem, was going back to the doctor, thought they could address it. And I haven't heard from him since, and got busy latter part of last week and hadn't talked to him. Have anybody else in the court talked to Mike?
Nope.
No, I haven't talked to him. looks like it'd be his responsibility to contact you and tell you whether he was going to be at the meetings or not.
I couldn't hear what Commissioner Guerin said. Commissioner Williams, did you get it?
Jed made the comment that he looked like that Mike would have contacted you to let you know if he's going to attend meetings or not be able to attend meetings.
Well,
I was just curious if he needed any help or any, anything. I mean, we're sitting here and we can all help. So.
yeah, when I talked to him, I offered that and was told that he was going into the barn every morning, telling his guys what to do, and then needed to go back home and take care of himself afterwards. So as far as he was concerned, everything was working smoothly and he didn't need any help. But I'll get in touch with him today before I leave town and see if anything's changed.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Okay. Well, do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner Guerin. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second. Okay. Motion from Commissioner Guerin, second Judge Smith. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.